I'm curious, if someone is feeling anger, unfairness, or any emotion around ill will about something that's happened to them, and they feel this is unfair, and they have this anger or defensiveness, you talked about the breathing. What is the intention that they can think of during those moments, 60 seconds, 10 minutes, however long it takes, to go beyond it? What is the intentional thought while they're in that, it's stressful, the heart is pounding, I don't like this, I want to break free of this. What can they think or say internally along with the breath to help them go beyond?
This is sometimes what people then refer to as a mantra can be helpful. So especially in such moments, you have something you always tell to yourself, continuously repeat. And now these can be different things. If you merge together the thought, they don't know better. Together with the cultivation of a heart quality of compassion inside of you, then I think even this thought together with that heart quality and the breath has a very powerful impact.
Wow.
And this is why initially I said about there are heart qualities.
Hard qualities.
Hard qualities,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So that means this is why it's helpful to really from time to time make clear to yourself again. So the greatest love you have ever felt in this lifetime, how did it feel? How does it feel? So if somebody would ask you nowadays, so when was the moment you really felt love? Well, first of all, you can't make it on the go. Second of all, even probably people nowadays are ashamed of even getting into this state of being while other people are watching around. This is why you need to do these practices alone, where nobody is watching you and where are you sure you are only with yourself. And there, what you do, you start to travel. You travel into the world of your memories and you travel into everything that you are still able to recall in your mind that has happened in the past. When somebody hugged you, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your first girlfriend, your first boyfriend, it doesn't matter. Recall the situation where you think this was the greatest feeling I have ever felt when I hear about that word love. So then at least in the 21st century, you are at least recalling it again and now know maybe how it feels. And after you have this feeling, now you ask yourself if something like this is existing. And you would have the chance that the people in this world can choose in which state of being would you yourself personally would like to live, and what would you wish the others to live in?
Wow.
I think you will only, if you're intelligent, you will only come up with one answer, which is for all of them. And this is the reason why out of that loving feeling arises then what we call compassion, which means I know how great this feeling is. So that's why maybe I know in which direction I would like to guide my life to finally have this feeling, let's say, more in my life. And now you walk around and then you see people that are obviously sad, that are obviously having issues day in, day out, and busy with their mind, and you see how they are suffering. And because you see it, and now have this direct comparison to yourself, this is why it becomes so much easier now that you are not going to act anymore out of ill will. So the ill will is only there because you are not at that level yet where you can stand above it. Easily said.
Yeah. Feel the love and the compassion for yourself and others at the same time. It's really hard to do though, right? When you feel like someone is against you, attacking you, hurting you, hurting someone you care about, saying mean things about you, nasty lies about you, judging you. It's hard to have the feeling of love and compassion in those moments because you feel like this is unfair, this is not right, this is not just. Why don't they just stop it?
Yes, exactly. In that moment. That's why if you feel like moments are too overwhelming for you, number one is get out of the situation. If we get into a big argument right now and you feel like, no, this is too overwhelming, I would now really start, get out of the room, number one. Yeah, so something very practical.
Yes.
If something is too overwhelming, then we say, get distance first of all. Get distance. Now, this is a nice part, for example, that our abbot, for example, in the monastery also teach us. He always said, you need to be able to adjust room and time. You need to be able to learn and adjust space and time, let's say.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds very philosophical. But space and time means, if we're in an argument, a big one, I want space first of all, so that means I have distance to observe, that is the space. And I want time, because time lets me think more clearly if I'm not under pressure. If you have someone that you really don't like, then vice versa, you also know exactly what to do then. If he's a friend, he or she is a friend, you always give room and time.
Yeah.
If you want to make enemies, you steal room and space. You don't let them move and you don't give them time to react. This is how you treat enemies.
Wow. You pressure them.
You pressure them.
You lock them in. You confine them. Yeah.
Because this is what it is.
Wow.
What arises out of that situation, if you put people under pressure, is something that is overwhelming them. And overwhelming means your emotions are not under your own control, which makes you vulnerable.
Right.
That is like the point behind this. So another thing to just keep in mind, no matter what type of emotion it is that we are sometimes feeling, is you don't take decisions while you are emotional. Next one.
Don't make decisions while you're emotional.
No.
Yeah.
And I understand sometimes people in certain areas, fast-paced areas, where like time is money. Yeah, I don't have time to think about. Yeah, and so. Meanwhile, we really have this culture where like somebody walks in, gives me a question and expects the answer right away. And I'm always asking myself, why can't you just to some questions, just say, let me think about it. I'm going to come back to it tomorrow.
Right.
So that means sometimes there are questions you're being asked by people where you feel it puts you under pressure. But maybe think about it, why do you want to answer it right away? What's the point to give the answer right away, especially if it's an important answer? I personally would prefer, if I would come up to you with a really important question, I would even prefer for you to tell me, okay, that is something I cannot just decide on the spot. Let me think about it and tomorrow we're going to talk about it again.
Right.
And then also for me, I have no problem to say, okay, let's talk tomorrow.
Right.
And this is also something where nowadays it's, a lot of pressure is coming from these type of things that unconsciously you just give answers for the sake of giving answers, whereas it would be better to just wait.
Wait on it, yeah. Think about it.